Let's go now to NBC's Richard Engel on the scene to get the very latest. Richard, what are you seeing?
The situation here has turned considerably uglier. This morning, several thousand pro-Mubarak supporters, apparently organized, very rowdy, came into central Cairo. They quickly entered Tahrir Square, where thousands of anti-government demonstrators were gathered. Clashes began almost immediately. The pro-Mubarak supporters came with horses, with camels, with sticks. They were exchanging bricks, were flying back and forth. There was about 20 or 30 minutes of fairly intense hand-to-hand clashes, then exchanges of bricks and bottles. The army mostly sat back. They made a few attempts to hold people apart. These clashes are still ongoing. According to the demonstrators, these are organized, paid supporters of President Mubarak who were sent in to break up the demonstrator. The pro-Mubarak supporters tell us that they are just doing this for the defense of their nation. It is an ongoing situation. It is the first clashes we've had between Egyptian civilians in this conflict so far.
Well, Richard, the numbers, obviously, of the demonstrators are a number you know far better than we do, in the hundreds of thousands, perhaps a million or so. There's no way that a paid band of Mubarak supporters could, in a meaningful way, break up these protests. Could this be a precursor to a crackdown by Mubarak?
What happened was today there weren't nearly the same numbers in Tahrir Square as they were yesterday. Yesterday was the big calling for hundreds of thousands to come in. This afternoon there were many thousand, tens of thousands, but not anywhere near the same numbers we had yesterday. And they were rushed by several thousand pro-Mubarak supporters who came in apparently prepared to do this situation. People now with bars and sticks are breaking up the paving stones so that they can throw them back at each other. When we went out, we were mobbed by angry crowds. The pro-Mubarak supporters are very against the press. Several foreign journalists have been thrown to the ground. Others were herded back into their hotels. So it is. I'm not sure if this is a precursor to a military crackdown. It is apparently an attempt by Mubarak's party, by his supporters, to disperse the crowd themselves.
Richard, it's Willie Geist. If you can go inside Mubarak's head for just a moment and try to figure out what he's thinking here. Does he think that by sending these people out into the street, that these hundreds of thousands of people who have been out here for a week now are just going to go away and that he can somehow make it to September? What do you think the strategy is here?
Well, the strategy might be, and if you listen to his speech yesterday, a lot of people focused on the fact that he was offering concessions. The tone of the speech was very aggressive. He was talking about law and order. He repeatedly referred to the anti-government demonstrators as lawbreakers, as people who've been involved in theft and vandalism. And that could have been a signal to his supporters, to his political party, which has been burned, its headquarters have been burned, that now is the time to mobilize. If they mobilize, and they have mobilized today, and there's a sense of chaos in Tahrir Square right now, that could proceed, that could force the government, or one might say allow the government to institute a kind of martial law and take control of the streets. If the streets descend into open fighting, as they have in places right now, there's also clashes similar to this in Alexandria, then the government could say, we had no choice but to restore law and order with an iron fist.
And that certainly is the fear that these people, these supporters, Mark Halpern, were sent in to provoke, to create these images, and then lay the groundwork, lay the justification of a major crackdown by the federal government.
It would be an unfortunate turn. Richard, let me ask you a question about Mubarak's support. Obviously, he's ruled for a long time primarily through having a police state and cracking down on political dissent. Are there elements of the society, based on the violence, based on the chaos, or loyalty to Mubarak, or a view of the stability he's provided, that are supporting him? Big business, are they supporting him? Is the state media supporting him? Where are the elements that are still for Mubarak staying on in power?
The state media absolutely have been for Mubarak, and they, right after Mubarak's speech, there was wall-to-wall television broadcasts of Mubarak in his early years, Mubarak the soldier, Mubarak the state leader, Mubarak kissing babies. They have been focusing. There have been pro-government demonstrations in the past, but yesterday there were 50 of them, there were 100 of them, there were maybe 200 maximum in small groups. Today they came out by the thousands, clearly organized, carrying banners, so somebody mobilized this group. Mubarak's supporters, Mubarak claims that he has the support of the silent majority, the people who aren't coming out in the streets, the people who are afraid of the chaos that this country has been seeing. It is very hard to know. This has been, until now, an urban conflict. It has been just in the cities. The rural communities, the farmers, haven't really been involved, so their loyalty is untested. The Army's loyalty remains fairly untested because they've been deployed in the streets, but they have not been asked to do any crackdown to support the government or go against the government. They are here almost as a token force.
NBC's Richard Engel, live in the streets of Cairo. Thank you so much for being with us, and we will certainly be hearing from him throughout the day on MSNBC. Mika, for 30 years, Mubarak has held power by promising security to the people of Egypt instead of the chaos that followed the assassination of Anwar Sadat. He may be playing that card one last time.